Hello, I'm Vara,
And this is Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. Hey, Roxy, how are you?
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I am super excited about today's episode because it is
Yes.
just going to be like something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. But for our audience, I'm going to give you a hint, a very vague hint before I just let them all cut loose. And if they cut loose, it's going to be crazy. But, audience, what if I told you, come and knock on our door? We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his, three's company too. Yes, today isn't quite a Three's Company episode. It's actually greater than that. It is something beyond me that when I came across this, I was like, this is real. And sure enough, it is real. But we have the best way to explain it, a society of Helen Ropers. Helen Roper, how are all of y'all doing?
Fantastic.
All these Helens.
Thanks for having us.
It is the most
Yes.
incredible phenomena I have ever seen in my life. We have Helen Ropers in Texas, in Connecticut, in Canada, in what blew my mind is all across the nation and internationally there are people who are out there celebrating Helen Roper. And that may sound weird, but let me give you a little rundown. So when I found this, it was on Facebook, and basically what you had are a lot of people, men and women, dressing as Helen Roper and going out and doing interesting acts and activities in the name of Helen Roper. So I'm gonna ask Amy L really quick if she can answer this. And if not, maybe Amy B can answer this. Why Helen? What is it that is just making Helen Roper a thing nationally? And maybe even Fiona, if you see y'all contemplating up there as the Helens, what is it about Helen Roper that has caused this craze? Amy L, let's start with you.
So,
Sorry, Amy. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Who am I? I'm Amy L.
You're
Because I know
Amy
I'm
L,
not
yes.
me. Okay. So, what I think it's because she's relatable, like to so many people, and if you already can't relate to her, you can dress up as her, go meet people that are Helen, and then start to relate. And you can be kind of incognito even, and you can just go out and embrace each other in life. And one thing we are is all inclusive. So I think that really speaks to most Helens. And the original Helen Roper definitely was all inclusive. She had no tolerance for some bull crap, didn't treat anybody badly, and
Right.
she just felt like everybody was okay by her. And I think for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I think that's probably what appeals to most people about Helen.
Absolutely.
Amy B, let me ask you this. So you kind of head up a chapter where you're at out there by Dallas. So what, again, the appeal of Helen, but how did this even, do you know how this even happened? Like, did someone just wake up one day and like, you know what, Helen Roper, that's where it's at. Let's do this. I mean, what exactly
I don't know
happened?
exactly. I believe it started with Pride in San Diego, is my understanding. So I can tell you, I found out about it because I had seen a post on, I don't know which, it's one of my, some social media. And I actually have a lot of friends in San Diego because I work with people in San Diego. So I'm like, is this real? Is this a thing? And they said it was, which is when I went and looked for, if there were any Mrs. Roper romps in Dallas. And I didn't find any, but I did find the major group. So I don't know. That's the most that I know about it, is that it started at Pride and in San Diego. I don't know exactly why, but I tend to agree with Amy L that, she was very all inclusive. And I also think people really enjoy getting dressed up in caftans and going out and having drinks and food, and you don't have to worry about what you look like.
Am I dressed correctly for the occasion? All
Right.
you have to do is have your wig, have your caftan, and a great attitude, and you're ready.
Yeah.
Now let me ask this over here. So Fiona, I see y'all. Oh, the three Helens. I see y'all are out at a public.
Well, we're at the
It's-
Regal Beagle.
Yeah, the
Richard.
Regal Beagle. How could I be wrong? The Regal
Right?
Beagle.
Come
Say
on.
hi to Larry and Jack for me while you're there.
Oh.
So, question, like right now, you're in public. Do people recognize y'all as Helen Roper, or are they like, what's happening here?
So what's really fun, and maybe everyone else can relate to this as well. We've probably gone out on 5 to 8 Roper events, and I will let you know there's another world record of the Million Roper March in Philadelphia, September 21st.
Oh,
Yeah,
Fun.
come on.
Down. I'm writing it down.
You should. But what's great about this is we've never been met by anything except just love, happiness. People laugh, people smile. We get to be a little silly. We were at a pub a few months ago after we did the coldest night of the year march up here for homelessness. And within our town, we raised just under $200,000 in one day.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, wow.
And we went, yeah, I know. Well, we didn't. We made some of that. And we went out to the pub, and this whole table of guys watched us walk by. So I went over and I'm like, I can walk by again so you can get a better look. It's harmless and it's fun and it makes people laugh. And there's something very much about embracing the nostalgia as well. I don't want to lose the nostalgia. I don't feel like I'm old enough for the Red Hat Society. And I feel like the Red Hat Society has too many rules. And the only rule with the Helens is spread joy and go and have fun. Yeah. And that's it.
Now let me ask
And men can do it. Every gender can do it. It's gender neutral as well. And frankly, I don't know about you, Helen. We look damn fine. Damn fine. Damn.
Jill.
Y'all look great, actually.
And I also just wanted to say, I think one of the reasons why people are so attracted to that is because, I remember watching that show and Helen was just so laid back and calm and, she might have gotten rowdy over something Stanley did, but she was always like, I think women embrace that sort of attitude and also the sexual frustration, sometimes that women have. I'll say it, but you know what I mean? That was comedic. It was, he would never give out and she always wanted it, so it was just, and I think that was just sort of a revolution that women, go through that I think people we can relate to, and even those that didn't see the show can relate to. And as far as like when we go out in groups, there were people that come up to us and ask us, what is this all about? Some people knew right away, but most of the people just wanted to get your picture taken. They wanted to get their picture taken with us. That happened a lot. So
very cool.
We went to a Boney M concert in December and people thought we were part of the band.
Wow.
See?
First off,
That's
I
great.
didn't even know that band was still going. How impressive. Wow. For the audience members who don't know them, the most popular hit you will know by them because it's all over TikTok and Reels is Rasputin. So that particular song was their huge hit. But Karen, let me ask you this, because you said you just put together your first Roper romp.
Yep.
What exactly did you do to kind of put that together? On top of that, how do you kind of go about doing that? Do you just like put out a cattle call or a cold call, or have you had to create like pages to invite people?
I wanted to do a fundraiser for my daughter's high school. There's a lot of kids who financially can't afford to do certain things. And there's a trip, an educational trip this summer. And so we were raising money for that group. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it something fun that I want to do.
Right.
And I've always wanted to, be engaged in a roper romp. There's never been one close enough, but so many of my friends have gone to different states. I was really jealous. So I thought, you know what? I'll do this. And there's such a network out there already of roper romps and Helens. All I
Yep.
did is, well, first I put it on Facebook and I created a page for the Connecticut shoreline, Mrs. Ropers. And then I said, did anybody ever done a fundraiser? And somebody I never met, who's a Helen, said, oh, yeah, I can help you do all that. And she helped me learn how to do the online tickets and all these other things. And I had never met her until the day of the romp. She was just like, yeah, let's do it. But through postings like that, and I did do some flyers, but I think it was really just Facebook. We had 55 people show up. And,
that's great.
and I knew exactly one of them because my friends that were coming were all sick and they couldn't come. But I mean, it was great and it didn't matter. We just had a ball. And the other thing that I just want to share that really struck me about the Helens is when people are dressed up as Helen, they are like their best self. And something about embodying her makes you just sexy. At a lot of the romps, you do, I don't know what people call it. We call it a promenade, where basically you just video it and you let people, strut by. And there was a pole where like 5 feet over from where they were going to strut, everybody chose to do a loop around the pole and be like crazy sexy. And I mean, we had this one woman who she told me that she had just turned 75 and she was like, join the pool. And I was like, where you go, Helen. I mean, it just was this like really fun, free thing. And every person in the room was cheering each person on because that's what it's about. And to set it up, people are always like, how do I start? I'm like, pick a date and a location and tell people. And, a lot of them are free. But people told me, oh, I would have paid $40 for this or, this was great. So it was a learning experience for me, but there was no downside. I mean, even the restaurant was like, your group was so much fun and, we loved having them. So I just say, set up a page and a location and invite people.
So let me ask this, because I notice there's a common theme going on here. And yes, I can totally see it, embracing everyone, loving everybody. But the concept of fundraising, this is very interesting. So everyone just kind of picks something that they're passionate about and just fundraises in the name of Helen Roper, correct?
Well,
So,
not everybody fundraises though. They're not all fundraisers.
I love that idea though. I think they should. Yeah.
My understanding is y'all do all kinds of fun activities, including pub crawls and other fun things as well. But the fundraising kind of like I saw that a lot going through different chapters of Helen's, that there is a lot of fundraising going on. But let me ask this out of curiosity, because this apparently is just becoming such a huge thing. How many of you might be planning to go to this Million Helen Roper March? I see all three Helens over there. Everyone, just almost everyone, planning on doing this in September.
Would we be?
Right.
I just heard about it, but yeah, I think that's definitely. I love Philly, so
yeah, I just heard about it. But Philly's a train ride away from me, so I'll do it.
And so for my people out in Texas here, we're also me and Roxy are here in Houston, Texas. Any plans on attending or figuring out this Galveston Helen Roper romp?
Oh yeah, I've been looking it up already to try to pick it up on Google to see if I can find anything. It's a little more doable for me than Philly.
yeah, it's just
I'd go to Philly. I don't care. I think it'd be fun.
Awesome. So for everyone, and y'all can just kind of explain it. So, Helen Roper, of course, the Ropers, you have Three's Company. Tell me, like, your first kind of memory of Three's Company. What was it that made that appealing to you? And then what is it that just says, yes, I want to be Helen Roper? I know you talked about how she embodies everything, but this is something else. This is like, we go out dressed as Helen. And we we love everyone in the name of Helen. So, so tell me, we'll start with Amy B because you're on my left side of the screen. What was your first encounter with Three's Company, and what was it about Three's Company?
So, I remember watching it as a kid, and I think for Three's Company, I'm going to be honest, it was really more about Jack because he was goofy and the whole thing of them always trying to pretend like, he was gay or whatever. And that was just so, like, at that time seemed really funny. Might be a little problematic now, but at the time it seemed very funny. And he was, Don Ritter was hilarious. So that was probably what I remember most about it. I do. And of course I do remember Helen and Stanley fighting, and then Furley as well. So, as far as why I think it's a lot of it for me is that I just like dressing up. I mean, my favorite holiday is Halloween. And so for me, this is like a second Halloween where I get to dress up and be someone else. And, and like they said, it is different. Like, I feel like my attitude is different when I'm dressed as Mrs. Roper. And, when we showed up for our last one, like I showed up, it was just me by myself when I first got there. And, somebody immediately was like, I know exactly what is going on. I've seen this, and wanted to get pictures with us. So it was, it was just fun. And I let Donna tell her.
Yeah, I didn't so much identify in the beginning with the Mrs. Roper character until I got to be older, as old as the Mrs. Roper character, because she has this, she doesn't give a damn.
Yeah.
She says what she says. She means what she says. And she's not afraid to say it. And I think that as women, we all reach that certain age. And if you're not quite there yet, throw on your caftan, throw on your wig, and get there. Because it's all about an attitude. And we had people, when we did our last romp, we had people walking up to us on the street saying, "Oh my God, you people look fun. Where are you going? We want to go with you." And we know exactly who you are. And it's really infectious fun whenever you go out. And we had a lot of people join us from different groups. We went to a couple of different places, and everywhere we went, we picked people up because they want to be a part of that. I think everybody can kind of identify with her character a little bit.
Very cool. So my three Helens there at the Regal Beagle. Same question to you. What was your first, real memory of Three's Company, and then jumping into what is your love affair with Helen?
Well, for me, when I was a kid, we had country cable and your options were limited. And so Three's Company, you made sure you huddled around the TV for that one, because it was one of the few good ones that was on. But all of the characters, I think you can resonate with at different stages of your life, even, going through it now when it's not even on the air. And like everyone has said so far, Mrs. Roper she just did not give a damn. Mm-hmm. And that is, really the stage of life that I find myself in currently. I really don't care. Do you, and I'll do me, and we'll figure it out. And when we're doing our Roper romps, we probably can't walk 20 feet without somebody wanting to take our picture and do a selfie with us. Like it's crazy. You can't move. People just love it.
We do birthday parties too.
Yes.
When someone's birthday, we get a bunch of Helens together and we ambush them and sing.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
My birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
What about you, Jerry?
I don't know. I just love being Helen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fabulous.
She's good too. She's good.
So
she's really good.
Let me ask you all this, because I was debating what is the proper name for Helen's dress. I've heard different things. So what is the proper name of her type of dress?
Caftan.
I mean, so it's a caftan.
Caftan. Okay.
Yeah. We
So
call it a
or a
muumuu. Is
muumuu.
that wrong?
Well,
Or a
the muumuu
muumuu.
is different.
Oh,
It's
The
both.
muumuu is a totally different style.
oh, fair.
We're
Yeah,
Fair. Thank
that's what
you,
I've
Helen.
heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But
But the
well,
jewelry matters.
Yeah.
I would
The
say
jewelry
so,
glasses. It matters.
Yeah.
It matters. Yeah.
This
So
is my
for-
favorite part.
I know it is. It gets bigger every time you pull it.
Yes.
So for all my
Yeah.
Helens, let me ask this. When you're out and about and other people kind of join in, have you ever had someone show up as Stanley or Jack or Chrissy
Yeah.
or
Oh, for sure, all the
Janet?
time. All the time
Really?
that happens. And we welcome
Mhm.
all of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Inclusive.
We had a
Yes,
Mr. Furley last
inclusive
time.
yet again. Yeah. Hey, well, I have my
Mhm.
big mouth talking. I want to go back to how it all started because
Mhm.
it's kind of
Oh, yeah.
slightly controversial.
Mhm.
And there's a couple articles out there about it where
Oh, good.
somebody on the West Coast was interviewed, and then we have on the East Coast, we have Bud. And we've kind of hijacked his page. He
Mhm.
started it like almost 11 years ago. And
Oh, wow.
on the East Coast, it's in New Orleans, and it's part of, or they were trying to sit around and decide what can we do for Southern Decadence Parade, which is not necessarily Mardi Gras at all. It's like a few weeks after. I'm not from there, but this is just my understanding. And it's a celebration of LGBTQ and, again, all acceptance. And they decided, how about Helen Roper? And he had like about 50 Helen show up for that Southern Decadence Parade. And there that page sat for 10 years. And suddenly Helen Roper blew up, and people started flowing into his page. And it started, like, I think I came around May or June, and he was at about 3,000 from his 50. And he was sort of drowning. People are saying, hey, what can we do? And where can we go? And how is this all supposed to be? And he's like, whoa. I don't know. I was just having a little fun 10 years ago with my 50 people. And I'm sort of not knowing what's going. So I said, I run a little group, and maybe I can help you. And before I finished that sentence, I was admin, and the Mrs. It was then called the Mrs. Million Roper Romp, something. Anyway, it's since changed to be simple, like just the Mrs. Roper Romp. But I don't know where Bud is. He was, I thought, scheduled to be here tonight. So I just wanted to break in and let everybody know that there's that other little story about the Southern Decadence Parade in New Orleans on the East Coast with Bud Moore.
Oh, cool.
And then also, before I lose my box, is it a box I'm on?
Yes.
I want to say that we have Helens from everywhere. And I wrote down a quick list. I asked the group where outside of the continental United States that we might be all Roper romping. And so all over Canada, all over. I mean, everywhere in Canada. The United Kingdom, we've got Belgium, we have Australia, Spain, South Korea, Germany, Mexico, South Africa. Also, we have the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico, which I think is fun. And so a shout out also to the Ashbury, New Jersey folks that had 700 Helens recently at their
Yes.
So I just wrote those things down, and now I feel like if I'm not called on again, I'm happy because I said everything that I needed to say.
Well,
thanks again.
Awesome. I'm glad you got that out. And speaking of which, so we got about 10 minutes. So before we go any further, let me extend a courtesy to you guys because it's so awesome. But if all of you, or maybe none of you, I don't know, have a future Helen event or Roper Romp coming up, if you'd like to promote it, please go ahead and do that now. We'll go round clockwise again on my screen. So Amy B, start with you. Do you have anything coming up?
Yes, we have an event at Woody's Sports and Video Bar in Cedar Springs in Dallas this coming Saturday, and
April 20th.
April 20th, and they are offering us $5 O Stanley shots. So we're excited about that.
$5 O Stanley.
This one is free. We are working towards doing some fundraising, but we're not at this time. So it is free to come.
Yeah, but because of the fundraisers that we want to do, we have to have a bigger head count, because we want to try, because Mrs. Roper was such a friend to the LGBTQ community, we decided we do our romps in the neighborhood of Cedar Springs. And we also want to make the resource center, which is a resource center for the LGBTQ community in that neighborhood. We want to fundraise for them, but we've got a few hoops we've got to jump through, and we want to get a bigger following showing up to them first. So it's kind of getting our feet wet right now, but we're having fun with it.
Awesome. My three Helens.
So we have an event coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to Woodbine Racetrack, which is Canada's largest horse racing track, for a live stream of the Kentucky Derby. We're calling it Run for the Ropers. And we're crashing the official Run for the Roses party.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so fancy, Helen. It's going to be so fancy. And yeah, so we're planning on doing events where they're really fun, and then events where they're fundraising, where there's a Helen theme that people like. We want people to really enjoy it and experience it. And just, even if you don't want to wear a wig and all that, just come out and just have some joy and have some fun. I really have stopped watching the news except for the Helen Roper updates.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
right? It's just about fun.
So before I move on to the next one, really quick. So not only did you mention it's like the biggest racing event in Canada, correct? But you yourself, Fiona, are one of the most popular trainers in Canada, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. Oh my God. So yes, I was voted 2 years running. I've been voted one of Canada's top fitness trainers. I actually own a gym.
Nice.
So I know all this, and in fitness too.
There you go. Stanley
Stanley
couldn't have asked for better.
And it's fun because Helen does come out to classes every once in a while. We actually are the only gym in Muskoka with its own costume wall.
Oh, cool. Okay, Amy. Thank you. Amy, you have any events, Roper Romps coming up or anything?
So I'm working on getting one together for September in Middletown, Ohio, which is between Dayton and Cincinnati, right smack in the middle. Dayton has a pretty good romping situation, and so does Cincinnati. So I'm hoping to hook them all up and bring them to Middletown and show them a good time here. That'll be in September. I don't have the date exactly yet.
Well, you let us know, and we'll plug it later on in the show.
Awesome.
So totally let us know. Laura, you have any Roper Romps happening? Yeah.
Yeah, well, when Amy B had mentioned the other two ladies had mentioned the one in Dallas, I had heard about one in Dallas on I think May 4th that I was thinking about attending, but I hadn't heard about the one that they're doing. So I'm hoping that there is a main place where all of these are coordinated, because usually I just hear like people would just like comment and say, well, we're having one here, and then they show the date. So I know of that one. There was one coming up.
MrsRoperRomp.com has the whole event situation listed.
Okay,
everywhere.
Great. See,
so right there at the top of the page.
That's awesome.
Sisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see,
I would only
look. Fort Worth is in Fort Worth. Is what? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
the International Order of Mrs. Ropers in Dallas has it actually has. We have our own group on Facebook, and I think the Fort Worth has their own as well. So,
well, I'll start looking.
Make sure you add it to the giant one also.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good to know. So that one, and then there was one on, I think, April 20th in Austin somewhere. I need to check on that. And then one in Nashville. That's it, April 20th. One in Nashville that I had thought about going to. I like to travel.
Sounds
and then
great.
I'm also in Sisters on the Fly, so I can take my camper and go to some of these of these events. And then there is also on June 8th in Nashville, there's a Golden Girls pub crawl, which I think is, that's a whole nother
that's a whole
genre.
That's a whole other topic.
A whole nother show.
We'll get to that one later.
Yeah, no, I love the idea of going to Philadelphia. I think that would just be a fun vacation to go do that one. And then the Galveston, where they're trying to, get as many people as they can. That's August 24th.
Of course. Thank you so much.
In Galveston. So, yeah.
Awesome sauce. So, before I go on to Karen, Just want to say, to be respectful of the situation because of the dates that came up, May the 4th be with you. And
Yes. There, you got it.
and Karen, do you have any roper romps coming up? No?
No, we
No,
just
that's-
finished ours this past weekend, but I've already had a request to do it again. And I also think we're going to do a pub crawl one this summer where I live in Old Saybrook, because it's a lovely little shoreline town with a great main street for this. So I think that's just going to be show up. I just I already reached out to the chamber because I'm hoping they'll reach out to all the bars and say, "Are you willing to do this?" Because they got to be staffed for it. If we're going to bring 100 extra patrons to town.
Exactly. So let me do this. And I'm gonna no one get offended here, but I'm going to go with Fiona on this one because she was the first one to contact me when I put out my cattle call. And Amy was really great. Amy L was really great in helping me get everything kind of going for this. But Fiona was the first one to really message me. So let me ask you this, Fiona. And only in a couple of minutes here. What would you like to tell the world about Helen? And you're on mute. There you go.
You know what? It's all about joy, Christopher. It's about joy. It's about passion. It's about a giggle. Frankly, I'll use the word shenanigan.
Beautiful.
Oh, the life is too short,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
We look at Audrey's no longer here. We're just here. Laughter is calling for you.
Aw.
Rendezvous. 3 is always company. 2.
Bravo.
That's awesome.
Bravo.
Could you repeat that?
Bravo. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at The VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show's song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.